The McDonnell Douglas, Boeing C-17 Globemaster III is a large military transport aircraft that was developed for the United States Air Force from the 1980s to the early 1990s by McDonnell Douglas. The C-17 carries forward the name of two previous piston-engined military cargo aircraft, the Douglas C-74 Globemaster and the Douglas C-124 Globemaster II. The C-17 commonly performs tactical and strategic airlift missions, transporting troops and cargo throughout the world. Additional roles include medical evacuation and airdrop duties. It was designed to replace the Lockheed C-141 Starlifter and also fulfill some of the duties of the Lockheed C-5 Galaxy. Boeing, which merged with McDonnell Douglas in 1997, continued to manufacture C-17 aircraft after the merger. The transport is in service with the U.S. Air Force along with Air Arms of India, the United Kingdom, Australia, Canada, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, NATO Heavy Airlift Wing, and Kuwait. The final C-17 was completed at the Long Beach, California plant and flown on the 29th of November 2015. In the 1970s, the U.S. Air Force began looking for a replacement for its Lockheed C-130 Hercules tactical cargo aircraft. The Advanced Medium Stall Transport competition was held, with Boeing proposing the YC-14 and McDonnell Douglas proposing the YC-15. Though both entrants exceeded specified requirements, the AMST competition was cancelled before a winner was selected. The Air Force started the CX program in November 1979 to develop a larger AMST with longer range to augment its strategic airlift. By 1980, the USAF found itself with a large fleet of aging C-141 Starlifter cargo aircraft. Compounding matters, USAF needed increased strategic airlift capabilities to fulfill its rapid deployment airlift requirements. The USAF set mission requirements and released a request for proposals for CX in October 1980. McDonnell Douglas elected to develop a new aircraft based on the YC-15. Boeing bid an enlarged three-engine version of its AMST YC-14. Lockheed submitted two designs, a C-5-based design and an enlarged C-141 design. On the 28th of August 1981, McDonnell Douglas was chosen to build its proposed aircraft, then designated C-17. Compared to the YC-15, the new aircraft differed in having swept wings, increased size, and more powerful engines. This would allow it to perform the work done by the C-141 and to fulfill some of the duties of the Lockheed C-5 Galaxy, freeing the C-5 fleet for outsize cargo. Alternative proposals were pursued to fill airlift needs after the CX contest. These were lengthening of C-141 as into C-141Bs, ordering more C-5s, continued purchases of KC-10s, and expansion of the Civil Reserve Air Fleet. Limited budgets reduced program funding, requiring a delay of 4 years. During this time, contracts were awarded for preliminary design work and for the completion of engine certification. In December 1985, a full-scale development contract was awarded under program manager Bob Klepper. At this time, first flight was planned for 1990. The Air Force had formed a requirement for 210 aircraft. Development problems and limited funding caused delays in the late 1980s. Criticisms were made of the developing aircraft and questions were raised about more cost-effective alternatives during this time. In April 1990, Secretary of Defense Dick Cheney reduced the order from 210 to 120 aircraft. The maiden flight of the C-17 took place on the 15th of September 1991 from the McDonnell Douglas's plant in Long Beach, California, about a year behind schedule. The first aircraft and 5 more production models participated in extensive flight testing and evaluation at Edwards Air Force Base. 2 complete airframes were built for static and repeated load testing. A static test of the C-17 wing in October 1992 resulted in the wing failing at 128% of design limit load, which was below the 150% requirement. Both wings buckled rear to the front and failures occurred in stringers, spars and ribs. Some $100 million was spent to redesign the wing structure. The wing failed at 145% during a second test in September 1993. A careful review of the test data, however, showed that the wing was not loaded correctly and did indeed meet the requirement. The C-17 received the Globemaster III name in early 1993. In late 1993, the Department of Defense gave the contractor 2 years to solve production and cost overrun problems or face termination of the contract after the delivery of the 40th aircraft. By accepting the 1993 terms, McDonnell Douglas incurred a loss of nearly $1.5 billion on the development phase of the program. In April 1994, the program remained over budget and did not meet weight, fuel burn, payload and range specifications. It failed several key criteria during airworthiness evaluation tests. Problems were found with the mission software, landing gear, and other areas. In May 1994, it was proposed to cut production to as few as 32 aircraft. These cuts were later rescinded. July 199.